couple of announcements out, well, two or three announcements out in the last sort of 6 to 8 weeks around the momentum that we're really trying to build behind the project. And that's first and foremost because the urgent need around heavy rare earth elements in Europe specifically is what's the shortest possible time frame that we could have this quarry in production. And that's where the real focus is taking place at the moment.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Kurt Budge. He is the CEO of Leading Edge Materials. And Kurt, it's good to see you. How are you?
I'm very good, Steve. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. The company's had some news out recently about an update on the project. We'll get at it in just a second, but you also have more news out today, and that is that you were thinking that you might have been put on a list that was just released on projects of importance as far as the rare earths are concerned, and your company didn't make that list, but that's not deterring you from what you've been telling me. So tell me a little bit about this list and just sort of why you weren't on it.
Yeah, so the Critical Raw Materials Act was brought in by the EU last year. And as part of that, they created this process to come up with a list of strategic projects. The strategic projects are across extraction, processing, and recycling. That list, the first list, got published today. We were optimistic that we would have made that list because Norra Kärr is the most advanced heavy rare earth project in Europe, but it hasn't made the list. But actually, you know what? We've got so much momentum and progress behind the project now that we weren't able to include in the application process. That it would have been a really nice to have, but it's certainly not the end of the world.
Yeah. So let's talk about project itself. Just tell everyone a little bit about the project and sort of the stage you're at right now.
Yeah. So Norra Kärr Heavy Rare Earth Elements Project, first identified by the Swedish Geological Survey in the 1900s, explored by one of the largest Nordic mining companies, Boliden, in the 1940s and 70s. It was picked up by successive previous companies before Leading Edge around 2009. It's got 15 years of technical work on it. And when it comes to the rare earth specifically, pre-feasibility study was done in 2015, but then with a complete redesign of the project, and the new focus on other products that we could produce from the mine. That was a new, we've just submitted a new mining application in December last year, and that was on the basis of a scoping study, preliminary economic analysis that was done in 2021. So now what we've got is effectively at mine site is a quarry. That's all it is. It's not some complex mining operation. And what we're looking to produce is a heavy rare earth concentrate, which will require further processing, but then also an industrial mineral, nepheline syenite. So a couple of announcements out, well, two or three announcements out in the last sort of 6 to 8 weeks around the momentum that we're really trying to build behind the project. And that's first and foremost because the urgent need around heavy rare earth elements in Europe specifically is what's the shortest possible time frame that we could have this quarry in production. And that's where the real focus is taking place at the moment.
Yeah, let's talk about that because the idea is to start small and sort of build up as you get going. And that's sort of been the big change, is that you feel that you can start producing much quicker than you would have ever thought in the past just by starting a bit smaller and moving up.
Yeah, and I guess the redesign of the project removes some of those elements that have attracted opposition in the past. And also, you know, to your point around starting small and lowering the risk, we've seen some, you know, projects that would be classed as too big to fail. Northvolt in Sweden would be a good example of that. And they've come unstuck. So what we're trying to do is, both from an operational standpoint and a financial standpoint, lower the risk level. Let's get into business. We're benefited because we've got this industrial mineral, nepheline syenite, for which there's an established market in North America and in Europe. And we can actually use that to finance our operation to actually produce this heavy rare earth concentrate. So the focus with a strategic project application was on the extraction part, which is the quarry, as I would describe it. And then we're also looking at, you know, how do we address the other parts of the supply chain, the downstream, midstream, downstream processing, and looking at who we partner up with and who we form alliances with to build that capability. So, you know, there's a lot of exciting stuff happening with the project. Just a bit of disappointment today.
Yeah, and that pricing that you talked about could be anywhere between $1 and $500 per ton. That's US dollars, and it gives you an opportunity then to sort of rescope a few things. And I think that's what you're working on now is to put in a sort of an update in Q2. Is that right of the PEA?
Yeah, so we're doing some test work as we speak. It's already started on the nepheline syenite and agrine. These are two industrial minerals products, and specific for nepheline syenite. When we put out the preliminary economic analysis in 2021, we really undercooked the numbers that we included in the economic analysis. So we've got this, real potential upside. And so once we've got the test work results, we can then analyze those, speak to market participants and the kind of segments in the market that we can actually target and see what the prices are for those segments, and then build that all into a revised set of economics that we hope to publish, by the end of May, second quarter.
All right, Kurt, we'll leave it there. Congratulations on the success so far. I know not making that list was not great news today, but obviously you see the momentum that the company is still pushing towards, and the plan is in place. So really appreciate your time, and thank you very much.
Great. Thanks very much indeed, Steve.
All right, there's Kurt Budge. He's the CEO of Leading Edge Materials.